Hey everyone, it's FLAK. We're all excited to see what DICE has up their sleeves for Battlefield 6. People are so desperate they're making up leaks on Reddit or putting together videos on when we could see a trailer. Now, I don't know anything about that last one, but it's safe to say that most of us are stoked for a new Battlefield game. This excitement, however, is tempered by the experience of Battlefield 5. It was the Murphy's Law of video games. Everything that could have gone wrong did. From the tone-deaf trailer to executive comments to the fragmented launch to the underwhelming live service. It was an absolute comedy of errors, and while a lot of us would love to just take the L and start with a clean slate for Battlefield 6, I think it's important to ask the uncomfortable question of what happens if it fails. Battlefield has long been a flagship IP for Electronic Arts, but I wouldn't say that it's untouchable. I'd argue we learned that when Battlefield 5 was shipped far too early, and also when the plug was pulled on the game's live service. I certainly understand the reasoning behind that decision from a business standpoint, but it also demonstrated EA won't hesitate to make cuts, even if it means walking back promises to fans. If Battlefield 6 is poorly received, it's highly likely that support for the game will quickly dry up. Yes, we've been told that DICE LA has spent over a year creating content to support the game after launch, but the proof is going to be in what's actually delivered. Battlefield has a nasty habit of waiting months to release anything to shake up the experience. There's precedent for this with both Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1. But with a live service, developers aren't obligated to provide a set amount of post-launch content like they are with a premium pass. Without new content, Battlefield 6 will die on the vine, and EA will end up adding to a growing list of busts, including Mass Effect Andromeda, Anthem, and of course, Battlefield 5. The greater danger here, I think, is long-term. In a worst-case scenario, EA could scrap the entire franchise, and unfortunately, this wouldn't be the first time that they've done something like that. Medal of Honor is an IP that has experienced tremendous ups and downs. The original game was published in 1999 and written by Steven Spielberg. Yes, that's Spielberg. However, everything came to a screeching halt in 2012 with Medal of Honor Warfighter. This is a game that wasn't even bad by my measurement. Actually, I'd argue both Warfighter and 2010's Medal of Honor reboot are woefully underrated, and I will die on that hill. Underscoring this, the biggest critiques were limited to low texture quality on consoles, glitches, confusing storyline, and poor artificial intelligence. Such critiques seem laughable in the wake of Battlefield 5, but in 2012 that response was apparently so poor, EA took the game out of the development rotation to focus on Battlefield. Certainly, some of this may have been due to franchise fatigue, but it clearly illustrates nothing is really off the table. We wouldn't see another Medal of Honor game until Respawn's VR reboot, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, in 2020, so that's an 8-year gap there. I don't want to go without Battlefield for 8 years, and I'm probably not the only one who thinks that. Now, in the past, Battlefield and Medal of Honor were kind of competing against each other and trying to take down Call of Duty. EA now has options for competing with the Activision juggernaut, and currently that approach revolves around Apex Legends. So Battlefield's position may be a little bit more precarious than you might think, especially if Battle Royales remain a driving force in the industry and interest in traditional multiplayer wanes. I also think it's worth noting that Warfighter's failure also led to the closure of Danger Close Games. While many senior staff went on to form DICE LA, it isn't the only example, and the next one hits a bit closer to home. You might recall EA axed Visceral Games after 2015's Battlefield Hardline. I wouldn't say the shutdown was a direct result of Hardline's failure, but it probably was a contributing factor. While the Battlefield series, of course, lived on, the studio behind games like Dead Space and Dante's Inferno did not. Could the same fate befall DICE? The short answer is, I don't think so. If Battlefield 6 is a failure, I think there is a definite possibility EA retires the franchise for a while. I don't think it can be understated the damage Battlefield 5 did to the brand and to the core fan base. I read YouTube comments all of the time, and people regularly still voice their displeasure about the game 2 years after launch. That is some kind of serious grudge. Battlefield needs a strong showing and a soft reboot in 2021 to shake its recent failures and instill some confidence in a fan base that has grown increasingly bitter in the last couple of years. And I know that I've been all doom and gloom up to this point in the video, so I feel like I need to say that things seem well positioned for a comeback. EA seems to know a lot is riding on Battlefield 6, right? They've pulled up 3 studios to work on the next game, DICE LA, and just recently announced Criterion. They've also said the game is on track for the earliest feature finish in the history of the franchise, and clearly it needs to be. It's highly unlikely the community will stomach another failure or controversy. Going back to Medal of Honor Warfighter, 2012 was a different time, right? We didn't have an entire cancel culture industry. There is a segment of the gaming population that would absolutely love to see Battlefield 6 fail, simply because it's published by EA. Shock YouTubers have become a driving force on YouTube, blowing literally anything out of proportion for quick views, regardless of how truthful any of it is. And I'm honestly tired of pretending that this stuff doesn't have an impact. I'm not saying you shouldn't be critical of flaws in the game, but there's a point at which where it just becomes beyond manipulative and hateful. And that wears on the community. Many of us diehard fans, we are exhausted. We're tired of listening to complaints day in and day out. We're tired of being disappointed at unfulfilled promises. And we are absolutely tired of excuses. Battlefield 6 needs to be airtight. It needs to launch without controversy, and it needs to work out of the box. If it doesn't, EA and DICE are setting themselves up for yet another failure. Now, one EA executive has described the upcoming game as, quote, a love letter to fans, end quote. And frankly, that is what we need right now. I think we'll get a better handle on where things stand once the game was revealed, but I'll also share some encouraging news. And I'm going to preface this by saying that I haven't seen anything from Battlefield 6. I'm not under any sort of NDA, and I don't even know the game's setting. Please stop telling me in the comments that I do, because I don't. But the word through the grapevine is that Battlefield 6 is quote-unquote focused. That is, to me, tremendous news, given the fractured nature of Battlefield 5 and its very definite lack of a clear direction. Just that single word, focus, gives me major confidence that the game could be a return to form for DICE and re-establish the franchise as a powerhouse among FPS games. To conclude, I'm not saying any of this stuff to stir up drama or to discourage you from getting the game or looking into it. I just really think that it is vital for DICE and EA to understand what is at stake here for a franchise and for us as its long-term fans. It's also your opportunity to voice your concerns in the comments, so make sure you tell developers your honest thoughts about Battlefield 6. What does it need to do? What does it need to avoid? Tell me down below. Developers do read the comments on these videos. Personally, again, I'm excited for the game, but DICE and EA really got to deliver on that love letter. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, hit subscribe, tap the bell to get updates on the latest Battlefield videos. If you want to support the channel, share this video, maybe consider becoming a member. Whatever you do, I just want you to know that you are appreciated, and thanks for sticking with me through all of this kind of downtime with Battlefield. And hopefully we'll have some more exciting stuff to talk about in the future. As always, thanks for watching.